topic is from downloads to loyalty, mastering the modern UA funnel. So thanks everyone for joining. To kick off, you will see we were supposed to have a third panelist. She unfortunately got COVID last night. Was really sick, but we still have two amazing guest speakers. So I will start with some introductions. We'll start with Vincent. He is the senior marketing director at Fubo. So that's the live TV streaming platform responsible for user acquisition and subscriber growth. So, Vincent, if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself and a fun fact, what was the first app you opened today?
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me today at the App Promotion Summit. Well, let's start with the fun fact. The first app that I opened this morning was the baby cam in my daughter's bedroom. She was like crying at 3 a.m. So she went to bed, not me. Then more about myself. So I've been in the mobile app industry for like over 10 years now. Started at network, then direct advertiser, more focused on gaming. And yeah, for the last 8 years, I've been at Fubo TV, the streaming sports cord cutter cable company.
Awesome. And so, if we get any really funny answers, we'll just blame it on sleep deprivation. Um, but I know you're going to do great. And then Jonathan, so he is the CEO of ZEDGE, which empowers tens of millions of users and creators through their various platforms. He's a fellow native New Yorker. So just so everyone knows how rare this is, you have two native New Yorkers sitting on stage. So when's the last time you've heard that? He's an avid runner and history buff. So in addition to telling us about himself, I asked for a fun New York history fact.
Thank you, Nicole, and thanks everyone in the audience for participating. I now live in New Jersey. I can't say that I'm super. No, we won't go there. But when I got into New York this morning, I was passing by Times Square, and it reminded me really of two things about Times Square. Obviously, we see the billboards, and those billboards are reported to cost from an energy consumption perspective like throughout like $1 million a year. So that's just like a little interesting thing. But what's more interesting is that many of the brands that have bought signage there have also bought backup generators, and they've planned for blackouts. So considering that this is a marketing summit, that's really like, being progressive. And then the second thing is the first barcode that was actually in a billboard on Times Square was around 10 years ago. And think about where barcodes are today. You don't go anywhere without a barcode. So I guess the message from a marketing perspective is you try different things and eventually you'll get it right.
Wow. Okay, generators for billboards in Times Square. I definitely did not know that, so that I'm adding that to my fun New York fact. And yes, I think you're right about QR codes. That's an interesting one where no one thought it was going to happen, and then thanks to people in college and the pandemic, now we have QR codes everywhere. Awesome. So let's jump into the questions, which is why we're here. Vincent, you're up first. With rising acquisition costs, how do you identify and prioritize the most efficient channels for scaling user acquisition today?
Yeah, well, they've been rising for sure. All the CPM, even like creating ads, everything has been rising on our side. I'm sure you're all experiencing the same issues. And well, the first thing is like to make choice. You cannot spend everywhere. And then so us, like we choose our traffic sources based on one key factor is like the incrementality. Is that traffic sources will bring and reach out new user that we wouldn't have get in any cases. So incrementality has been like really our focus over the past 2 years. We're testing a lot. We're still testing a lot. We tested with third-party partner internally, looking at the data. Incrementality is going to be like in this time is going to be like our key focus.
That's great, and that is a really important topic, I'm sure, for so many of you in the room, and I would love, Jonathan, to hear your thoughts on that. Is incrementality also important, or what are your sort of big challenges right now?
Sure. So let me break out our world. We've got sort of at two ends of the spectrum in terms of our business. We have our ZEDGE marketplace, which is a marketplace for everything having to do with mobile phone personalization, ringtones, wallpapers, app icons, video wallpapers, etc. We also have a full Gen AI creation suite in there. So that's both text to image, image to image, and text to audio. That app has surpassed around 750 million installs to date, primarily through organic channels. And we only started to invest in paid user acquisition, give or take around 3 years ago. And incrementality is absolutely one of the most important parts of deciding where do we expand. We use a third-party platform that helps give us better insights into that, in addition to using our own data science team to really unlock where we can see the best possible outcome. In addition to that, we have the leading photo competition game in the world, and that's a business by the name of Guru Shots. And in the Guru Shots domain, we're really taking a look at deep funnel events. The ZEDGE app is a free to use app, primarily driven by advertising, whereas Guru Shots is also a freemium app, but it's fueled by in-app purchases, and therefore really getting an understanding of those deep funnel events and how they align with new partners is what drives our spend in that particular domain.
That's really interesting. That's awesome. How is creative, I think, testing impacting that, holistically when you talk about you started with organic, you now are only doing paid and that incrementality. So how does that factor in?
Okay, so I hope someone in the audience was looking at their watch to see how long it would be before someone said AI. So we got through, I don't know, 5-7 minutes of this, and well, creative today, as I think everyone in the audience recognizes, is such a different game from where it was a year, 5 years ago, et cetera. And when I think about creatives, I think not simply about the mechanics of creating an ad, where we all know that AI tools can literally make whatever you ask them to make, but it's also testing and using research that AI can help bring to the table in an easier fashion, in a fashion which is more digestible and does not rely on having, a data scientist by your side walking you through that analysis. Generally speaking, I would just mention that we look at creatives in a sort of two parallel lanes. One is the creatives that are standard, that consistently perform well for us. And that will be sort of one group where we will have a ad group set up for that. But when it comes to testing, we don't want to give an unfair advantage or disadvantage to new ideas, whether and see, hey, does this hook work? Does this content work, or whatever? So we actually bifurcate and keep that on a standalone basis. With new stuff, the algorithm really has to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work. Whereas if you throw it into the standard bucket, the new stuff typically will underperform because it's easier to go with a tried and true ad, which has been proven successful by the platform.
It's really insightful. And how about for Fubo? How's creative being impacted these days?
Yeah. So I would say even like last week, we were not doing things that didn't exist with AI. For us, we've been looking at AI really carefully because we've been doing a lot of testing over the course at Fubo TV to know like what was the user were looking for. And for us, it was pretty simple. It was like which networks we're carrying and at what price. So we need to keep that, and or which sports. So where we evolve is like we've been using AI like more to create like variation beside like testing, to be able like to address to like a broader audience, or like like niche audiences, like you like baseball and hockey, or you like baseball and football. So then he helped us like to create like all those iteration and then to be able to target the user. But as your first question was like, costs have been rising. We had to make also the choice to stop testing. So like just using our champion creative. And where we're using no AI is to help us on the video aspect, because we have a big presence on everything shorts, reels, and TikTok, due to the new economy and the new advertising rise of TikTok. And what we've noticed is 3 years ago, we could have like the same ads over and over, like for a month. But no, recently is like if that ads survive 4 or 5 days, it's a miracle. So after 3 days, we see right away depreciation. So we need to come up with a plan like to create more ads, and AI is where it's helping us. And so in 3-4 days, we don't even have really time to test anything within the budget because we know they will depreciate. So we just use AI to create iteration and new ads. That's it.
That's really smart to be using AI to scale. And I love that you're using that user data to combine different types of sports into different ads. That's really smart and really the only way that you're going to be able to scale that like at any sort of economy. And I guess on top of that, so not AI, right? Because we know AI is really important. What does really you think like the next generation of user acquisition look like, and where should apps be investing other than obviously AI is really important to both brands. It's really important sure to all your brands. What are those other key areas?
Yeah. Well, we're seeing like all the platform like turning slowly into what Google UAC used to be like 5 years ago. Like you just put creatives and then you see where your ads are going. And that's the reality of a lot of platforms these days. Wherever you invest, no, it's kind of a black box. They like or rep or like trust the algorithm, and then you will see where it goes. And I mean, for people like us that we used to be like in so much control, like where you could like define target, put like 1,000 different look-like audience and suppression list, it's kind of difficult to accept that no, you just like load AI creative into an algorithm. So where I've been seeing things, and because like we've been doing a lot of Google UAC, is depending on the creatives that you load the algorithm with, it will go toward a specific audience or toward a specific channels. And so it's what we are trying to play with, like trying to play with the algorithm by, we know, for example, let's pretend like on Meta, like our video are too expensive and not working. Well, we simply like just don't upload video and we'll just upload static creatives to keep things simple. So now there's like all that play with those platform by trying to beat the algorithm. But I do appreciate these days that there's less and less options, because at one point it was way too much. And at the end of the day, the algorithm was still showing you what you wanted to see, except you were setting so many parameters that they were showing exactly what you wanted to see. And they were not necessarily incremental leads or incremental actions.
So the way we look at the world is there is advertising, there are influencers, and then there are creators. And we're beginning to focus much more on the creator universe. And these are really individuals that might be on TikTok that don't view themselves as being influencers, which creates an opportunity because they don't know how to price themselves. And if you've got a good ability to reach out to them and have them promote your product, they're micro, but they also have reach and they also have the ability of going viral, and then monitor performance against the price that you're paying. You may find that there is a much better outcome than if you go with one of the traditional platforms. I'd also point out it does take a little bit more elbow grease in order to secure these creators. I would recommend don't go to an influencer platform where you can just sort of go into that marketplace. Those guys know their business well. They know how to price themselves. This is really trying to find people that have not yet built out that expertise from a business perspective, but at the same point in time have reach and provide that organic interaction, which just automatically resonates with people on TikTok or in Reddit or whatever the case might be.
That's great. So I think when you think about like marketing 5 years ago versus now, do you really see it as like a combination of working with these, soon to be big, but not big influencers and AI, or what would be your secret sauce today?
Yeah, well, 5 years ago, I will say by contrast, and this really touches upon the incrementality shift, we were looking at last touch attribution. Life was really simple and easy and beautiful back then. And then ATT came in and suddenly, it gave us battle scars and so on and so forth. But at the same point in time, it has opened up the doors for us to try different things. And we have tried multiple avenues. Some succeed, some don't. The ones that don't, we will revisit from time to time. We actually just did some CTV stuff, but we didn't see any incremental lift. It's going to be very much dependent on the product that you're offering, what resonates with your user base, and that ability to just consistently test, not get beaten down by, oh, this didn't work, that didn't work, but just constantly come back and test. Be mindful of you don't need to spend a lot of money to test. And when you begin to see some signals that point in the right direction, that's where you begin to scale up and see how far you can go before you hit that ceiling, if you will.
That's awesome. So I want to go back to AI for a little bit. And Vincent, I think great question. You guys had a lot of, I think, great starter points. But how do you, in today's world, really separate out the hype from like what actually works? Like, what are those real tools, and what's your process to getting to that?
Yeah, so we had to calm down a little bit, like our creative designer. We're coming with design every day, like for us to launch. But first, we had like that constraint of budget, and also we had our objectives. So we knew like or like best creatives working. So the way we rationalize it is, so I'm going to take the video aspect now, is so due to the heavy shorts and TikTok video that we required to keep being efficient, what we do is like each designer is doing like a weekly video these days with like a brand new concept. And so like that, you give us like variety. So it's all about like creating variety, and that's where we're using AI. We're looking at any fun or any like really generic videos, but at the end of the day, as much as we can create creatives and test, everything needs to be organized and rationalized. There's no way we could have tested like the 1,000 different static or video that they created in less than 1 hour. First, it was like humanly impossible for us to launch, while for them suddenly become easy to create. So it's really about the organization of those projects and the frontier of still being efficient and going a little off the rails, like to create something fun and new that will be considered as a test.
Awesome. Yeah, do you can follow?
Yeah, I was going to point out one thing. We've who's not using AI today, but what we've asked our marketing team to do is, and not only our marketing team, it's true of anyone. So our marketing team is obviously using all of the standard tools that help create faster. And the initiative throughout the company is how do we become truly an AI-driven company? And each particular team was given a mandate, come back with 3 projects. Don't worry about tooling, but come out with 3 projects that can really lend themselves to freeing up a lot of time, helping solve a pain point, and allowing one to focus on higher level problems. In the domain of UA, the project that is being worked on right now is literally having AI do the research around what competition is doing the ideation around new ad concepts, coming up with the scripts, coming up with the hooks, and then actually using AI to create those. So the question that I'm consistently asking when walking into meetings, and it doesn't matter whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, whether it is engineering, is can we build an agent for that? Where we as human beings really make the difference is how well do we build that? And then the oversight so that hallucinations don't suddenly, as you said, you need the guardrails there, but allows for us to think about things from a much different perspective. And I'll just close by saying that I've told each team that I want them to actually go out and build this stuff without going to engineering. And the reason for that is what I've found with AI is we have to think about the world differently. It's no longer that you have a concept, you're in a meeting with a bunch of folks and like you can just talk it out. You really need to think, what is the interface that I need? What's the information that I need to provide to whatever that set of tooling is in order to come up with a good answer? And that's a mind change for us. So the teams have been really, really, I guess, enlightened and inspired. There are growing pains along the way, but think about this from the vantage point of not hype, but how can you make people's lives easier by engaging and embracing AI, and then ultimately having them take that responsibility.
I think we're at time. 12:10. Thank you, everyone. I hope this was informative. If you have additional questions, please feel free to come up. But yeah, thanks
Nicole,
for
great
attending.
job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicole.